Hi, and welcome to Influence Colorist. Today I'll be working on this Leopard with Lanterns page from the book Worlds Within Worlds by Kirby Rosans. I think it actually might be a cheetah, but that's okay. Leopard and Lanterns has a better ring to the title. As you can see, I've already started the lanterns. There were so many of them, and very tedious work. I did leave a few here to do and show you how I did them. I was influenced by the colors of these lanterns. I wanted that classic yellow-orange glow, but with a pop of color, and I really loved the purple in the lanterns. It took a while for me to figure out the full page color scheme because I originally imagined the leopard purple, but I also wanted a really dark blue sky, so I thought there wouldn't be enough contrast to make that work. So I've decided on a white-gray leopard, and the purple hue will be in the lanterns. For the lanterns, I'll be using Prismacolor, and in the description box, I'll put all my supplies and colors down below. Okay, I'm going to start off the lanterns with my yellow color. It's kind of a bright medium yellow, and I'm going to do the center, like if this was the flame coming out or the hottest part of your light. And then I'll take this lavender color, and I kind of did some experiments. If you start out with the purple color first, that way it kind of just reminds you to not go over that purple color too much when you're blending, and then it leaves a brighter, more vibrant purple. If you go over it too much with the yellow and orange, it kind of makes a more brown, like a shadowy color, but if you want that bright, vibrant color, you wouldn't want to go over it too much when you're blending. So I'm just kind of telling my mind where to stop the blending. So that's why I do the purple, and then I'll take the lighter orange, and now I can start blending that yellow and orange. So the lantern's going to pretty much have this lighter orange all over the lantern. I'm going to blend it in slightly to that yellow and slightly into the purple. Working my way up to the top part of the lantern and into these smaller sections. And just going to a slightly darker orange, working my way around the edges, staying away from that center. Blending it in together. So light pressure here. Okay, then I'll take my yellow and I'm just going to continue to blend. So I just go back and forth between the yellow and oranges, blending it all in and increasing the pressure. And it's kind of just a game of, where you want shadows, where you want things to be brighter. So just go back and forth until you think you have it just right. Okay, now I'm going to a darker orange, or just this is kind of more just a regular orange. And again, just keep blending. And I go over the purple just slightly, but as you can see, it leaves that purple shade not as intense purple, so that is why I color some areas of that darker purple. That way I make sure I'm not coloring over it. All right, back and forth between yellow, light orange, and orange. And then I'm going to hit it with the purple again. And again, carrying it down more into the orange. That way it looks more of a shadow. So as you can see, this is why I didn't want to do all of this on camera. There were a lot of lanterns, and it takes a while to just keep blending until I had it just right. And the last yellow I use is more of like a fluorescent yellow, and I'm going to go right over that first yellow I did. I want it to be just super bright, and I'll even carry it into a part of the upper part of the lantern and blend in some of those lighter oranges. Alright, so I'm going to hit up the lantern with this last color. This is a darker orange, and I'm just going to go through some of where the darkest shadows would be. And I'm not doing a really hard pressure, but I do kind of want this darker orange hue to come through. But again, leaving some of that purple. I don't want to make that purple brown, so I'll just hit it a little bit with this darker orange and into the creases here of the lines. All right, and this is actually more of a pinkish lavender color than that first lavender I did. And this will kind of help blend between the purple and orange hues. All right, I'll go ahead and speed this up. I'll do the same process for the last two lanterns. Obviously, the smaller lantern doesn't need as much work with it. Same colors and obviously same blending, but because it's so small, you don't need to fuss with it so much. Okay, next I'll be working on the grass and the cattails. And I want more of a silhouette look, so I thought about doing just all black grass. But then I wanted a little bit more color than that, so I'm gonna do where the light is hitting some of these cattails and some of the grass. You're going to be able to see some of the color showing through on those, but then everything else is going to be a really dark blue shade. So I'm just going to go back and forth. I'm going to do a lavender on these cattails with a little bit of yellow right where the light would be hitting it. And blend those colors together. And then here's that really dark blue. This will be for the majority of the plants. Okay, for the grass where the light is going to be hitting, I'm going to use this very bright green, and I'm going to hit just right where it would be the brightest where the light is hitting. So right at the ends here. Okay, so this darker blue will start heavy down towards the bottom of the leaf, and as it gets up closer to the top where the light would hit it, I'm going to go lighter pressure, and then it changes that brighter green into like a medium green, and then you can leave, you know, any of the little spaces that brighter green color, not to blend it in, but these Prisma colors blend so nicely. So again, darker pressure at the bottom. So we have this really dark, intense blue. And I'll just lighten up the pressure as I go up this grass stem. And then just barely touch it into that lighter green. And then I'll take that lighter green and blend all of that together. All right, I'll go ahead and speed this up. Okay, so now for all those little people standing on the back of the leopard, I'm going to do the same kind of silhouette, this dark blue, for most of the bodies. The very top part of their body, I'm going to use my fluorescent yellow. So at the top of their head and then maybe their hands, just hitting it with this fluorescent yellow. I'll even hit it with a fine liner pen on some of these really tight areas. You have to have a really sharp pencil to get into some of these. But I do know I'm going to be using a dark background marker, so I don't worry that it comes out of the lines too much. Okay, next I'm going to be working on our leopard slash cheetah here. And I thought the quickest way and easiest way to work around all those little lanterns would be using a pan pastel. And I'm just going to be using the neutral gray. And you use it with these tools called soft tools. It looks like a little foot here, so, and then there's a bigger sponge, and so if you don't want such an intense color right away, you can kind of rub it off on that sponge. So I take the applicator and kind of mush that little foot sponge all the way around the bottom, dab off some of that excess, and I'm going to start in these dark areas first. This is where I know my shadows are going to be. And I'll probably go ahead and speed up the video, so I'm just going to go over the darker areas around the legs, under the belly, and then I'll just lighten up the pastel color. So I still want kind of an overall shade of this gray tone, but leaving some areas highlighted white. For the background, I'll be using these alcohol markers, OHUHU brand, and I have two shades here. Now I know alcohol markers will definitely go through to the back, but thankfully that page behind here is not one that I absolutely love or was like really wanting to do, and the other page is very similar, so I'm going to sacrifice that page. I do have a piece of paper in the back, and then I'm also putting this more plasticky sheet behind also. Just double protection. So as you can see, it does go through. So when I was envisioning this page for the background, I just wanted a nice, solid, dark blue color. And the quickest way and the easiest way to maneuver around all these little grass stems and all the little people and the lanterns, I thought the alcohol markers would do the best trick. Color pencil would, I think, take a really long time to get that nice, solid color. And chalk, I think, would be, or watercolor, it would just be too tight to get into those little areas. And again, I didn't want a kind of a blotchy look in the sky, so the alcohol markers were going to be my best option. Alright, so here it is with the background mostly complete, at least with the alcohol marker. My alcohol marker, the blue, was kind of running out, so I didn't get to blend in the darker shade as much as I wanted to, but I got a little bit in the corners and down around the bottom. For the moon, I'll be using the Pan Pastel again, and this is titanium white. And I just flipped that little foot sponge over so I have the side that doesn't have any black on it. And I'm just gonna kind of go around all the moon, and then on the outside, I just want this little soft glow around the edges. All right, I'm going to do a little color pencil work again. So this one is a white Prisma color, and I'm going to go around the black line of the moon. And then I'm also going to take a light yellow, and I want to just add a little bit of a soft glow right where these lanterns would be hitting behind them, so landing onto the leopard. I don't want it too bright, but just a little soft glow. Okay, and then I'll take my lavender, and I'm going to go in some of these creases, some of the shadowy areas, and just hit a little light layer of this lavender color just to bring in some more of that purple hue. Okay, and then I'll be taking the light yellow again, and I'm just going to hit one side of my moon just to give it a little bit of color, and some light blue into these little crevices. And the last thing is my little stars in the background. So white Posca pen, and I'm just dabbing on stars all in the blue background. All right, here's the finished page. I really love the way the lanterns turned out. They do look like they're glowing in a night sky. I also like the way the light is hitting on the grass and some of those cattails and just showing a little bit of color peeking through. And I'm happy with the leopard. I was worried that the white would look unfinished, but I think giving him kind of a gray tone with pops of yellow and purple really make him stand out, and he's an important part of the page. So I'm glad you watched. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.